Alright, welcome everyone for the first playthrough of my Zia Legends of a Drift System campaign. I'm playing with Embers of Forsaken Star, obviously, because that adds the solo capabilities, as well as mission and powers and the Sellsword expansion. I'm not going to, in this video, I'm not going to do a extended orientation to Zia. That we can do that in a separate video. I will take a few minutes here to just kind of set up the campaign and kind of my initial thoughts about which goal I'm going to go for this time. So the campaign is made up of 10 different goal cards, which set up your victory threshold. So this is 10 fame points is the end of the game, as well as special rules. So for the Merchant Master goal, you would win, you'd have to get 10 fame points before the NPCs and earn at least 6 of those fame points from selling cargo and or buying fame points this game. So if you can do both of those things, you complete this goal. And the campaign ends once you've completed all 10 goals. Some are definitely harder than others, like for example, Lightning Victory, win on your first turn, so you got to get 5 fame points in a single turn. Meteor Shower, at the start of every turn, take 1d6 damage, blockable with shields. Or Convincing Victory, 20 fame points, but all the NPCs start with 10. So the idea is, the campaign ends when you complete those goals, but after every game, win or lose, you get to upgrade, get one of these upgrades. And so it's kind of a tiered system, so you can upgrade your engines here, and if you take that one, then in the future you could also take the next one, the +3 instead, and so on. And so there are different kinds of upgrades you can do here. You get to choose, you get to go through all of setup before choosing the goal you want to try to accomplish. That makes sense. Some of these are very dependent on your initial setup. My initial setup in this game, it isn't great. I mean, first of all, I do this lost sector, and there's not a whole lot going on. I could go for archaeological expert potentially in this game. I need to earn 5 fame points from sifting relics. I've got 1 dead world here. I would need to turn up another, so that's a possibility I considered. I did reveal 1 planet here, so I thought, well, okay, maybe we can get an economy going. I do have quite the robust economy board here. I rolled pretty high when I was building that, so potentially Merchant Master could be an option to earn at least 6 fame points from buying and selling cargo or buying fame points. But the goal I'm going to go for is Expert Explorer. And so this is a 15 fame point game, and I need to earn at least 7 of those from exploration tokens or gates. And the reward for doing this is once a game I can reveal all exploration tokens on the map one time a game. So the reason I did this one, it was kind of torn between doing that and the archaeological expert. Since I turned up a dead world here, I kind of have a head start on that one. But I guess I just felt like Expert Explorer with 15 fame points. It's a longer game. Early on, I don't have any of these upgrades. I can kind of take more time to build up and get stronger and And also, the title I drew is reckless. So perform 3 blind jumps in 1 turn. And with my starting ship, I chose the Vagabond with the Quantum Ripple ability. So Quantum Ripple says when you take a blind jump, you can choose the orientation of the new sector. So basically takes away all risk associated with the blind jump. I mean, there still is some risk if you turn up the star. You kind of are screwed a little bit. But so I figure I get this, I can get this title, and then this title says once a turn, when blind jumping I gain 5 movement. So that 5 movement might help me move around the map, collect those exploration tokens, and move on towards victory. I'm going to do a little rearranging here just to bring the revealed exploration tokens just a little bit closer together, so I don't have to do quite as much moving around to collect them. And then we'll get started. Alright, and last thing to note before I get started with my first turn, just my opening setup in terms of outfits. I am playing with the suggested rules that you play with hard mode, so I only have 2,000 credits to work with. So I went with engines and shields. Pretty obvious there, since I'm going to be possibly entering some debris fields, asteroids, etc. I might take some damage, and the engine to prevent that with the shields, and obviously one needs engines to move about the galaxy. So I think with my first turn, my goal here is I'm gonna try to move up here. I've got 2 spice on the economy board, and Neo Damascus, I can sell spice there. So I might be able to pick up to 2,000 credits, easy credits, just like that. And then move up here, and from this point, I'll do some exploration, some jumping, blind jumps, and try to get the title and carry on from there. So with my first action, I will arm my engines and roll for movement. Well, that's a pretty pitiful roll. 2, only 2. I do get to land on the missions, so let's see if anything useful comes up. I think we'll go with the assist. So fly to any mission point in an asteroid, which I happen to be at right now. And then, so as soon as these NPCs spawn, I can complete this mission. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that as my starting mission. I'm there, so I'm going to go ahead and just do the max available. So 3,000 coins. So as soon as I get some in, it requires the 2 NPCs to be spawned. And once that happens, I could have 3,000 credits. So I'm going to arm my second engine roll here. And 3. I'm not rolling great, but it's enough to get me to the mining space. And from here, I'm going to start mining away. And it's okay with me if I take a bit of damage here at the beginning. I've got a bunch of extra cargo space, and there's only 2 spice available. So that's my target. So I'm going to try to roll high here. There's a 20. And as luck would have it, according to the rules, you get a fame point if you roll a 20 once per game. So play by the rules and take my fame point, I also get one of these spice. Well, that's an exciting start to the game. We're going to go again here. Try mining again. Try our luck. 17. All right. So we collect our second spice. And didn't need those shields after all. Maybe I should have invested in the gravitational thrust system, the +2 to any engine instead. I could do that. I could sell outfits when I get to Neo Damascus. Anyway, I'm going to arm my last engine, and I want to get to the cell space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I do have my impulse. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd like 4 or higher. 2. Boy, pretty pitiful. Pretty pitiful rolling. That's okay. It is what it is. So let's use our impulse and get all the way onto Neo Damascus. So that's going to allow us to do a business phase if we would like. So recharge my energy. I'm at full, no damage to repair. Buy outfits, sell outfits. So I think I'm going to sort of audible here. I'm going to sell the shields and I'm going to grab the gravitational thrust. So if I had had that from the beginning of the game, I'd have 6 additional movement. I could definitely have made it to the cell space and be prepped for exploration. It's kind of, it's a bit of a dumb move, I think, not taking that, given that my goal is to be the expert explorer. But, you know, you start not expert and then you become an expert. So I'm going to do that. To selling a level 1 outfit gives you 1,000 and GTS is 1,000. So I'll just swap that out. Yeah, so that's the extent of my business phase. We'll go to status. I can rearm all my markers, rearm for free when you're on a planet or the kiln. I will draw an event because I gained 1 fame for rolling a 20. And our first event is Mob Rule. After a player on the kiln takes a sell or sift action, that player must pay 1,000 credits and put it on this card or take 1d12 unblockable damage. This card leaves play when there's 5. I'm really glad I did not take the archaeological expert because every time I would have to sift, I'd have to pay credits or take damage. Okay, well, so I think we can avoid that event altogether this game. All right. So now what we do is system expand. So we're going to put the NPC, well, in the solo game, the system expands every turn. So you choose the spot that has the most explored sectors touching it. In this case, all of them are 2, so I can choose where to put it. I don't want to do anything up here because that's gonna. I want to blind jump and do my exploration in that way. But I also don't want to necessarily throw something on the other side of the galaxy because I want to collect exploration tokens. So I think we'll put it right here and we'll match the circle, that icon. All right, well, there's Kemplar. That actually might, so what that's going to do, that's going to spawn 2 NPCs. So the Enforcer spawns on Kemplar, and the Merchant spawns when you get the second planet on the trade route. So the first is we saw is Neo-Damascus, second is Kemplar. So, he spawns on the second planet, so just put him adjacent to the Enforcer. That's some... I knew Kemplar was going to be in the top 6 tiles, but this isn't great because the Merchant just has an extremely short path to get back and forth and complete its behavior. So we need to draw behaviors for these NPCs. So first we'll go for the Enforcer. And we draw Big Game Hunter. All right. Outlaw. So Big Game Hunter, an enforcer that wants big kills. Outlaw if tier 2 plus. Player if tied. Behavior, move to target if in range attack. Repeat steps 1 and 2. And for the Merchant, we get the Investor. So an merchant that likes credits. Target the sell space on the next trade route planet. Move to target if arrived, earn 1d6 in credits. And if it has at least 5,000, spend 5,000 for 1 fame point for the NPCs. Okay, so interesting behavior note on this Big Game Hunter Enforcer. So he is never going to target the Scoundrel, and he won't target me unless I am an outlaw with a tier 2 ship. So we might have a pretty active merchant in terms of this short trade route, but the Enforcer, on the other hand, is probably not going to do much this entire game, because I don't plan on being much of an outlaw if I'm just going to be exploring. Okay, so we did system expanse, spawn the NPCs, now they take their turns. I do get to choose the kind of round order when I spawn them. I'm not particularly concerned about what order they go in. So we'll say the Merchant is on my right and the Enforcer is on my left, and I have a little place I'm keeping track of it. You can't really see it. It's off camera, but this does mean now I can cash in my mission, and second player on my left is the Merchant. And in the solo game, the NPCs always heal for assist missions. So, okay, I think we covered all of that. Now let's take their actions. So, first up, the Merchant. And so the Merchant, hard mode Merchant, moves 15 spaces. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So he's going to be doing this every single turn. Okay, well this is how the NPCs are going to get a bunch of their fame points. Okay, so he gets on the sell space and we roll a d6. So he gets 2,000 credits. The Enforcer does nothing. This Big Game Hunter, he's going to not have much to do this game, I don't think. And now we roll for end of round NPC gain. Roll low, please. 16. That's not very low, so they get 2 fame points right off the bat. Okay, Well, back to my turn. So, unfortunately, the merchant is sitting on the spot I want to get to. So, I should have refreshed my impulse. And at this point, unfortunately, my audio went out, so I'm going to try to be overdubbing the key points in the rest of this playthrough. So I'm going to use the rest of my impulse power to move adjacent to the cell space, and because I'm adjacent, I can use the cell space for 2 additional moves. So I'll pay 2 move and sell my cargo of 2 spice. I should have added demand to the spice space. That doesn't affect this transaction, but I'll put it there. And that gives me 2,000 credits, and I also get 1 fame point for selling all of my cargo of a given type in at least 2 cubes. So that ends that action, and then for my next action I will complete the assist mission because I'm adjacent to the merchant. So I gain the 3,000 credits on the card and 1 fame point. In the assist mission, the NPCs always heal, and the merchant has no damage, so there's no need for it to heal. Alright, so the plan for this turn is to explore up and to the right from where I am now. As I've laid out the tiles there, I'm going to do 3 blind jumps and get that title, Reckless title. I only need 6 movement this turn, so I should be able to do it. I roll a 2, 2 plus 2 for my GTS mod is 4. So on my way out, I'm going to move over the assist mission and look at my options, but I'll take another assist mission, and this time it targets the Enforcer. So I'll go ahead and put 3,000 credits on the assist mission. And the first I reveal is Farron's Call, an anomaly with 2 exploration tokens, which is good for my goal this game. Farron's Call has 2 gravity paths, and it requires forced movement. So whenever you enter any path, you roll to see how far along that path you move. And you retain any additional movement you had before you moved onto the path from your impulse or your engines. And on this, the outer path is where you have to roll a d12, and the inner path you roll a d6. So I'll just go ahead and place it like that. I don't think it particularly matters for me exactly how I place it. But I'm going to go ahead and roll for forced movement. And I'm going to roll a 9. So I'll move 9 spaces along, which is actually very great, given that I want to keep exploring up and to the right. And I'll activate my engines again and roll for movement. And I roll a 4. 4 plus 2 is 6 movement this turn. So a blind jump onto this next tile. And reveal it to be a Vortex 86, the nebula. And I'd like to avoid landing in the nebula, so I will orient it like this, given my ship ability to choose orientation on a blind jump. And with my remaining movement, I'm going to move out and blind jump onto this 3rd tile and reveal TK421. An asteroid field. Again, I don't want to land in an asteroid, So I'll place it suchly. And because that was my third blind jump in a single turn, I will claim the Reckless title, which gives me a fame point, and also once per turn when I blind jump, I can get +5 movement. So that's going to definitely help me keep moving around this map and trying to complete my goal. And with the rest of my turn, I'm just going to keep on exploring and blind jumping my way around this map. This ship ability is really powerful because here I reveal an ice asteroid field, and there's only one space that is safe that I could have landed on, and so blind jumping in this case could easily have killed me, but since I can reorient the tile, I can place it in a safe way. I definitely do not recommend blind jumping as a common tactic unless you have this ship. And with the rest of my turn, I think I'm going to head back to Farron's Call and try to pick up those 2 exploration tokens. Getting 2 on a tile is pretty rare, so I'll take my chances that I don't get sucked into the black hole and try to pick up those tokens. So I land on this outer path and I need to roll for forced movement, and I roll a 9, so that puts me onto the inner path. It doesn't carry over onto the inner path, so I just have to roll again. And I roll the inner path die, and I don't end up in the black hole, and so I can continue using the leftover movement I had at the beginning to backtrack and grab that exploration token. And that exploration token gave me spice, which comes from the supply, so even though the economy board is out of spice, economy board only relates to buying and selling from planets, so I can take that directly from the supply. And I'll activate my engines for a 3rd time and head on over to this second exploration token, which is ice damage. So I have to take a point of ice damage. Not too bad. Ice damage is kind of easy to handle if you can avoid it spreading onto key outfits or mods on your ship. And figuring out how much movement I have left, I'm going to use the last of it to move back along this inner path with the idea that I will end next turn. I'm going to try to make my way to Neo Damascus and possibly upgrade my engine, try to drop this ice damage. But for now, we're into the status phase of the turn. So here I am rearming the markers and paying energy for that. Then I have to freeze so the ice damage spreads. Still fine because of the layout of my ship. It doesn't take over, doesn't hit anything. Next turn it's going to take out the GTS mod, so I'll have to be ready for that. I do turn up the next title. Economist. Greed is good. Take a sell action that generates 4 or more cargo cubes of a type that is in demand. And the reward is once per turn when taking a buy action, you may buy up to 2 cubes of the same type from the supply instead of the economy board. And I also turn up another event, and this is all because I passed fame points on the fame track. CD discount, so cheap it's almost criminal. Tier 2 and 3 ships now cost less if bought on an outlaw planet. However, ships purchased using this event discount start with a bounty on them. Tier 2 discount of 1,000 credits and a 1,000 additional 1,000 bounty. Tier 3 2,000 discount and a 2,000 bounty. And lastly, I exchanged 2 exploration tokens for 1 more fame point. And I mark that. I'm just going to put one of them on the card so I can mark how many of my fame points have come from exploration or gates, so I can see if I meet the... Now we're on to the NPC turn. So system expanse, I'm going to put it into the lower left. And my idea here is mainly to extend any possible trade route for the merchant, to try to place any more trade route planet as far away from the other ones. And I finally make up my mind, and I reveal Loathe. So, not a trade route planet, but it does require me to spawn the Scoundrel. And this assist mission still applies to the Enforcer, even though I've now added another NPC because it refers to the seating order at the time I took the mission. So I'm just going to put an event token there to remind me of that. And now I draw a behavior for this Scoundrel, and I draw the usual suspect. So he's going to target me if I'm innocent. If I become an outlaw, then he wouldn't target me. And his behavior is to move towards me, attack. And if he attacks, he'll head back to Loathe, and if he doesn't attack, he'll move again. And now we're heading into the NPC turn. So start with the merchant, and he moves 15 spaces. And he gets all the way to Kemplar. And he rolls a 1, so he just gets 1,000 credits, not enough to buy a fame point just yet. The Enforcer does nothing, and the Scoundrel moves 9 towards me, and then because he's not in range to attack, he moves another 9 and ends up right next to me. So it's going to be really important for me to stay ahead of the Scoundrel. If I can stay at least 9 spaces ahead of him, then I can avoid getting attacked and continue exploring and progressing towards my goal. And now we roll for the NPC fame. They get +6 because they are behind by 3. And they roll pretty low, so they just get 1 fame point.